What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, the Ring magazine decides that they wanted to disrespect undefeated, undisputed lightweight world champion, superstar boxer, Devin the Dream Haney. 28 wins, no losses, no draw. 15 wins by way of knockout. 23 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. By not placing him top their pound for pound list, although he's the undisputed champion, okay, became the youngest undisputed champion in the 4 major belt era, okay, the first 4 major belt undisputed champion in the lightweight division in the history of the sport of boxing, and he beat the man who beat the man who beat the man, right? And yet the Ring magazine chose not to acknowledge Devin Haney, as well as ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, in which Devin Haney has signed with legendary promoter, Top Rank CEO Bob Arum and Top Rank, and they fight on ESPN, okay? So the ESPN decided not to acknowledge him, putting out a top 10 pound for pound list that didn't have him on it, okay? And now Devin Haney, he responds to both, okay? He responds to ESPN and he responds to the Ring magazine. Well, the Ring magazine, they decided that they wanted to respond back to Devin Haney and tell Devin Haney to mail them back the belt. If he don't want to represent their belt and their brand, to mail it back. Now, what's interesting to note here is this, is that for one, Devin Haney had made it clear since he was a young child, since we had the last undisputed welterweight world champion, superstar, retired Hall of Fame, iconic boxer in Zab Super Judah as the undisputed champion in the 3 belt era. When Devin Haney, he walked out Zab Judah, okay, and he held the Ring magazine belt, and Devin Haney has made it publicly known that that was his favorite belt, was the Ring magazine belt, because for one, as a young child, you know, it was colorful, right? And so Devin Haney, he stated, you know, that was his favorite belt, and he asked Zab Judah, could he walk to the ring, walk Zab Judah to the ring with the Ring magazine title, okay? And so you can see in the picture, in the photo, and Devin Haney, he put this photo up, and you can see in this photo, right, of Devin Haney right here with the Ring magazine belt, right? And he put this post up, how it started, right? Walking Zab Judah out with the Ring magazine belt, right? How it's going now, right? Now he has all the belts, and the Ring magazine belt is right there, right? And you can see the Ring magazine, he's, favoring the Ring magazine over the WBC title. And so with that said, you know, it's ironic that you have, you know, the belt that he, you know, is his favorite belt, you know, that he looked forward to collecting. The first time he collects it, immediately they choose to slight him. Now, what I'm going to say is this. If Olympic 2-time gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer, Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, 16 wins, 2 losses, no draw, 11 wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'6" with a 66-inch arm reach, had held that Ring magazine title, would they have not put Lomachenko in their pound for pound, top their pound for pound list? And if not, and Lomachenko publicly responded and said what he said about not having the belt, not being recognized, would they have told Lomachenko to just return the belt? Absolutely not. So Devin Haney, he said, I'm the youngest undisputed champ of the 4 belt era. And not only the pound for pound list is crazy, especially when guys who don't even hold the Ring magazine belt currently made the list, right? And they still acknowledge guys that don't even hold the belt over the guy that holds the belt? Imagine this. Only in the sport of boxing, because it's the Wild Wild West. But I want you guys to just picture this, right? And imagine this. Imagine you being a WBC champion. We ain't gonna use the WBC because we know how they operate. But imagine you being the IBF champion. And the IBF comes out with a pound for pound list. And they recognize a non-IBF champion on that pound-for-pound list. See, I was going to use the World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Suleiman, and boarded 32 members, but we know they have done that before. And as a matter of fact, they've done it with Devin Haney, their quote-unquote franchise belt, acknowledging a franchise champion, such as former unified lightweight world champion, superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez, as the undisputed champion. We know he was only unified. And then George Kambosos, who defeated Teofimo Lopez to become unified as undisputed, when we know there's only a handful of undisputed 4 major belt holders in the history of the sport of boxing. And the WBC, because they decided to come up with a franchise title, right, to maximize on their revenue, let's be real, right, that they placed their franchise champion as undisputed over their actual champion, who just happened to be Devin Haney. So that would be a bad example. But the IBF, imagine the IBF acknowledging the top 10 pound-for-pound list and not having their actual champion on the list, but acknowledging a non-champion on the list. Because you can do and say whatever you want in the sport of boxing. I like the fact that, you know, there's freedom to move around in the sport of boxing, but I don't like the fact that it's just completely the Wild Wild West. I like the fact that the fighters can somewhat, quote unquote, control their destiny, but I don't like the fact that it's completely the Wild Wild West, right? And so with that said, right, I believe, you know, this needs to raise the eyebrows of other fighters, okay? Not just Devin Haney. This should raise the eyebrow, and we should have many other fighters. We should have many other fighters that stand up and express and voice their opinions on what's taking place, because it could very well be you. Like Teddy Atlas, the great iconic trainer, now boxing pundit and commentator, Hall of Famer Teddy Atlas stated, everybody should stand up when they see some sort of alleged corruption within the sport of boxing. Everybody should voice their opinion. Everybody should stand up in unity, because it could be you or your favorite fighter one day. It's just not his turn right now, or it's just not your turn right now. Or as a trainer or as a manager, it's just not your fighter's turn. And as a fighter, it's just not your turn. And as a fan, it's just not your favorite fighter's turn. But could it easily very well be him? Now, what's ironic here about the sport of boxing is that we know there's favoritism. Like I asked, excuse me, if this was a Vasil Lomachenko in this position that expressed his displeasure with the fact that they put out a pound-for-pound list and didn't include him, and had guys on the pound-for-pound list that wasn't even champions, and didn't have him on the list that is the champion and represents their belt, would they tell Vasil Lomachenko to mail it back? Or would they just go back and say, you know what, we need to correct that? Not only would they not tell Lomachenko to mail it back, but they'll place him at number 1. Let me say it to you again. Not only would they not tell Lomachenko to mail it back, but they'll place him at number 1. I guarantee you he would be in the top 3, and they would act like it's an error. Like an error was made. But to the young African-American fighter, they're going to tell him to mail it back. When he holds it in high regards and represent it well, they're going to tell him to mail it back? If you don't want it, mail it back? The Ring magazine is not one of the 4 major sanction belts. The audacity, because they have history within the sport of boxing. The audacity. They're not the WBC, WBO, IBF, and WBA. And their magazine itself gets it wrong all the time, so it's no surprise. I'm just surprised they told this young champion to mail it back. But then again, I'm not surprised at anything that takes place in the sport of boxing. The disrespect needs to stop. And if you other champions and other superstars in the sport of boxing and you see and hear stuff like this, you should stand up in unity. There's strength in numbers. You should stand up in unity and say, hold on. They just told this dude to mail it back and he's the champion and he's not on the list? And they got guys on the list that's not even a champion? You should stand up in unity and all say, listen, we all don't want the belt. See how they respond to that. But y'all not going to do it. Because y'all warriors in the ring, but I'll leave that up to the people to discuss what you are outside the ring. Because outside the ring is where you need to make your mark. That's where you become a legend. Floyd Mayweather became a legend inside the ring and outside the ring because of his business mind. Muhammad Ali became a legend inside the ring and outside the ring. Become a household name and a legend outside the ring. Both. Stand up in unity. You see this dude is being done wrong. Stand up and say, hold on. Hold up. We got a problem with the way you operating, Ring Magazine. Amazing. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for you. Peace.